When we replaced the heads on this Monte Carlo, we upgraded the intake manifold. Now it is a used intake manifold, and with that comes issues.
It is broken.
Primarily that of the holes being bored out. Let me demonstrate. This is the thermostat housing. This is the bolt that's supposed to be going in there. You can see it just kind of drops in. So we need to fix that. Now I already did a couple on the carb here. The back ones were augered out. I've put Healy coils in those, and that's how we're going to fix this one as well.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
So there are a couple methods we can use. One, you could actually just JB weld that hole closed, drill it, tap it, and it could possibly work.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
The method we're going to use is a Healy coil, a threaded insert, and you're going to need some tools for that. Looks like that. You got a tap there and an installation tool and some instructions.
I'll remember that then.
And you can see right there, it tells you the size of the thread we're going to be using, 3/8 by 16 for this particular hole. And it tells you the drill to use, a 9.9 millimeter or 25/64. So you're going to need your drill. Now let me show you what the Healy coil or thread repair looks like.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Let's have a look at our aforementioned bolt and our Healy coil. It looks kind of like a spring, but you can see that this will just thread right on there. So the idea is the outer threads go into the aluminum, the inner threads hold the bolt properly.
That's your home! Are you too good for your home?
Let's get to putting that in, shall we? Okay, we got the hole drilled. Now we're going to tap it out. You can see we got our new threads cut in there. So we're going to insert the coil. So how does this work? Well, you see this has a slot in it. And you see this has a little tang on the end. And that catches that tang, and as you twist, it turns it in. Once you have it locked in place, you can turn it backwards and it'll break the tang off, and it's all set. So let's get to putting that in there. We're about to do the compression test on this. Now, judging by the condition of the plugs, I'm going to say it's cylinder 5 and 7 that have the issue. But we've got our paper here where we can record our compressions that we end up with. Ideally, if this was going to be a good compression test, you want them to be within 10 to 15% of each other. We got the throttle blades propped open. We got all the plugs removed. We got the battery charger on it, keep the battery nice and charged up. Normally I would crank this until the needle quit bouncing. We're just going to count the number of cranks and keep everything consistent that way. There's 8 cranks. Let's see what we got. There's 150, 145. That's really good. Okay, we only got about 110 on that one. Not very good.
You should better start making like one hell of a mechanic.
Okay, so about that trick. Well, we did a compression test, and that tells us a little bit, but we want to know where the problem is. And how you do that is called the cylinder leak down test. Now, I'm going to do the poor man's version.
Shiny. Must be bad guys.
If you get a compression tester like this, it often comes with an extension right here. We got a couple of little adapters, and then we can thread in an air line right there, and we can put air into the cylinder, and that will tell us where the air is escaping. So if it comes out of the intake, we know it's going past the intake valve. If it comes out of the exhaust, we know it's coming out of the exhaust valve. If it comes out of the radiator over here, then we know we've got a cracked block. If, however, it comes out of the dipstick tube, which we'll show you over here, if it comes out of there, then we're probably got a problem where it's going by the rings.
Got to rip apart the block and replace the piston rings you fried.
So let's hook this up, see how it goes. Now, a couple tips for you is you want to have a regulator when you do this for your air compressor, because if you hit this with 100 psi and you're not exactly on top dead center, it's going to kick over on you. So you want to have the pressure down a little bit, see what it does, and once you know that piston's right at top dead center, then you can crank the pressure up and see where it's coming from. So let's see what we got. All right, we're just going to take our tool, put it in cylinder number 7 here. There we go. That should seal up good enough. Now I've already set it up so that we're on top dead center. I know we're there, so I'm going to put the full beans to it so you guys can hear what's going on. Okay, we're hooking up the air. We're watching to see if that balancer moves. Oh, I'm having trouble hooking up here. Okay, did the balancer move? Nope. Let's see what we got. Okay, come on over here. Okay, you hear that change in tone? I can feel the wind blowing in the dipstick tube. That means we got air going past our rings, which means our rings aren't seating very well. Now that's not necessarily means we're done yet, because this engine was sitting for at least 7 years. We get it warmed up, running, they might reseat, but I'm not going to have a lot of faith in that. But what I will do is I will show you what happens when you get this wrong.
Ah, that's not gone well.
Okay, I want you to pay attention to the balancer right there. See what happens when I hook this up and you're not in the right position. You ready? Here we go.
Hated when I did my Schwartz twisted.
Let's see where the air's at now. And this is how you can tell. Now, if I put my hand, we can feel that coming in the exhaust port.
Well, the thing's got to have a tailpipe.
Fascinating.
And that's what it sounds like. I'm opening up the throttle blades. You can hear it coming out of the carb now. So that's how you can tell where your leak's coming from, whether you got bad valves or whether you got bad rings, or whether you got a cracked block when you do the leak down test. Cracked block might be harder to find, but those are the different sounds. So ours is coming out of the oil dipstick tube. When we're at top dead center, both valves closed, which means we got blow by on the rings. And that's why we got low compression on that cylinder. But we're gonna put it together anyways. We're gonna run it, put it through some heat cycles, see if it comes around.
It's still good. It's still good.
It's good.
I know.